Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my first ever post-processing landscape tutorial. One of the first things you should know how to do when you want to create pictures like I make is how to blend a sky into a foreground layer. I think it's one of the most important things to know when you're out shooting landscape, because there's times where you come into a scene like this where the foreground is really dark compared to the sky, like this layer. You can see it's the very end of sunset. The sun is just blaring in your eyes. It's impossible to really get this all in one picture without having really noisy shadows or highlights that are just completely blown out. So what I'm going to show you guys how to do today is blend these two pictures into one to give you the most dynamic range possible while still keeping it looking natural. So you're going to want to start out by making sure that your sky layer is on top of your foreground layer, like this. You're going to want to have your sky layer selected. Go down to this little tab here, which is a layer mask. You're going to want to hold Alt and click that layer mask. It's going to be a black mask right here. So basically how this works is anything that's black is going to be showing. But as soon as I paint white onto this, it's going to reveal that sky layer. So what you're going to want to do is come up to your sky. Make sure you have your brush selected with a white color. Make your brush bigger. You're going to want to paint in that sky. As you can see, it's coming in. Looks pretty nice. But a problem arises as we get closer to our rocks right here. What most people would do is they just paint right up to it. Oh well, looks good, right? If you zoom out, you'll see that it's actually a bit brighter around the rocks, and as you paint onto the rocks like this or close to them, the rocks actually get darker. And that is because on our sky shot, it's a darker exposure. So obviously this foreground is going to be even darker than our proper exposure for the foreground. We don't want that. It looks like they're burnt or something. Definitely don't want that. So I'm going to show you guys how to properly blend it in. So I like to get the bulk of it with my brush like this. Way easier right now. Sorry, it's take a minute. If you're wondering what that scratching sound is it's actually my tablet I use. Alright, so I got that. One second actually. Sorry. There we go. Okay. So how do you get back to this edge without intruding on it? Super easy way to do it. It's called Luminosity Masks. So I have this little panel right here. It's by a guy named Greg Benz. Free, it's on his website I think. I'll link it in the description. Super easy to get. Super easy to use. So what you do is you go to, actually I gotta turn this off really quick. Create masks. You go to channels and it'll show all these masks it's made. It's got selection for the lights. So basically all the white area is the brightest part of the image. It's got darks and it's got midtones. There's different levels for each one depending on what kind of selection you want to do. Right now we're going to be working with the lights. So this one's looking pretty good. It's got mostly the skies all white, but what I don't like is that these rocks right here are still lit up a bit, and we want to change that. So I'm going to go to this lights layer, duplicate. I'm going to select it, image, adjustments, levels. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this mid-tone slider to the right and darken those rocks. Just like that. So they're all dark. But now we want this gray in the sky to go away. That's just the clouds there. So we're going to pull our light slider to the left and blow that out. So now we got this defined line of where the rock is compared to the sky. So that's okay. You're going to want to go to that layer, hold Control, and click it. Now if you come back to this layer and make sure you turn it on, and then click on your layer mask, you'll see it's lit up all around these rocks, these marching ants. So, now that you got that selected, go back to your brush, make sure it's white, and look at this. You paint it right up to your rock, flawlessly. You can go crazy if you want. Make your hand sore from brushing so hard. Look at that. Seamless. Could never tell. Control H takes the marching ants away. Look at that. An awesome blend. You wouldn't even know. Wouldn't even know it was two images. So if you zoom in the water here, this is the last part I gotta do. The water was a bit bright, and it was showing up in that mask if I go back. See? It's right there. So any kind of brush is gonna affect the water, but if I just get close with my brush in this case, it won't be that big of a deal. You won't see it. So, get a little bit closer. Make my brush bigger so it kind of feathers into the other water a bit more. I think that looks pretty good. So you got before and then after, and that looks awesome. I might actually go up against the rocks a bit more. It looks like it can be a bit darker. Yeah, that was right. That looks a lot better. Something I do after I'm done blending two pictures together is I kind of adjust the foreground. Right now it looks a bit HDR-y, which is definitely something you don't want. HDR doesn't look good if it's done wrong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this foreground layer, this bottom layer here, go up to filter, select camera raw filter, and it's going to bring this up. I use camera raw filter for my exposure because I don't like the built-in one in Photoshop. It doesn't look as good to me. I don't know if that's just me, but it's personal preference. I'm going to take this exposure slider and just take it down to like -40 or -30, like around 1 or a third of a stop. Press OK. You see it made it a bit darker, and it looks a lot better like this, I think. I could go even more. So what I do -30, -0.30, because I can always go up to filter here and click this first tab where it says camera raw filter. Basically what that does is it applies any effect that I previously just did, if that makes sense. Any effect I previously did. So if I click it again, it'll take me back down another third of a stop. I think right there looks best. So that's it for this tutorial. If there's any other kind of things you guys want me to cover in another one, just let me know. I'm definitely down to make more if it's something that helps you guys out. But until then, peace out.